own mouths and hearts and brains and all that good stuff. And with that being said, we're going to go, like I said, we're going to the great state of Georgia. We have Andrew Underwood, who is running for the 14th Congressional District there in the great state of Georgia. Welcome, Andrew.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Good. So, Eric, you may proceed.
All right. Yeah. So Andrew, real quick, I kind of like to have you, if you will, introduce yourself. Kind of let us know what made or when did you decide you were a libertarian? Did you have anything that influenced you to become a libertarian? And then what made you decide to run for local office as a libertarian, or I guess federal office, but it's local?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Talking about myself, about 37 years old. I've got 3 kids, but my sister, my wife, and my nephew also live with me, so got a bit of a full house. It's like I have I've one of my kids goes to public school, another one's homeschooled. It's like, so school choice is obviously a big deal for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I know that different kids need different things, and so a one-size-fits-all solution is never going to work.
Gotcha.
Right.
As for what got me into being a libertarian in the first place, I was raised very staunchly conservative Republican. My father was this still is this larger than life fellow. He was a airborne MP in the Army.
Yeah.
It's like
I
the sort
was
of guy
an
who
MP too,
brooks
so-
no disagreement.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
when I went to college, I had a friend who was libertarian leaning, and he and I used to argue a lot. But I was being trained in sciences. I was studying physics, so I had to try and be objective, and he had some really good arguments. So before I realized it, I was agreeing with him on everything. I was also heavily influenced by people like John Stossel, especially on economic matters. So
yeah.
I kind of drifted into being a libertarian.
Gotcha.
It's like
Speaking
of,
Well, go ahead. My bad.
I would say, as for what has me running, well, as I'm sure you guys are well aware, Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned. And because it wasn't at the end of her term, we had to have a special election. And Georgia normally has some of the most onerous ballot access requirements in the country. But those are waived for the special election. So I was seeing it, and I was seeing how many Republicans were running in this heavily Republican-dominated district.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking to myself, this is the best opportunity we've had in a very long time to get a libertarian elected to high office. And so I kept pushing everybody I knew. It's like, please run, please run. And everybody had decent reasons why they couldn't run or that. And time was starting to run out, and I'm like, fine, if nobody else is going to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, we appreciate you throwing your hat into the ring. This is definitely probably one of the, because there's some few other special elections going on this season, but this is probably one of the more newsworthy or more popular district races because of her withdrawal or retirement, early retirement, whatever you want to call it, self-term limiting in Congress.
Yeah.
So
whatever you want to call it.
Before we move on, is there anything you could tell us about your district, kind of where it's at in the state of Georgia? So I'm originally from Northeast Florida, and I actually worked at Kings Bay, which is in the sub base in Georgia. So I was that close to Georgia. That's a 30-minute drive from my house, Georgia. But
Okay.
the feeling that district's nowhere close to the Florida line. So if you kind of describe your district, let everybody know where you're at in the state of Georgia.
Okay. Yeah, actually, we are in the very northwest corner. I personally live about 40 minutes south of Chattanooga, so we are. It's like I'm right up by the border. Then there's the Alabama border on the other side, and so we are just right in that corner.
Gotcha.
Now, the district does stretch down a bit toward Atlanta, not quite in there, but it's not
Just
it's not a small
outskirts.
district, but we are
Gotcha.
pretty sparsely populated.
Gotcha.
In fact, in the area where I live, there are more cows than people, and I like it that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and so not to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene too much because we're here to talk about you, but let's say a year before she dropped out or resigned or whatever, she was starting to rub elbows with Thomas Massey a little bit and started to vote in the right direction. Started changing the way she was viewing the federal government. I say that to say this. Have you or your team or your state party or anyone reached out to her? Actually, everybody watching this on X, tag Marjorie Taylor Greene in the comments and ask her if Andrew Underwood can get an endorsement. And if she could do that for us, get us a Thomas Massey endorsement also. So
Is that
But,
going to work,
I
though?
actually did reach out to her. I
Okay.
do not expect an endorsement simply because she has publicly stated that she's not going to endorse anybody. And I would not ask her to go back on her word like that.
gotcha.
Well,
but,
I mean,
Now, if
That's
she
a-
feels like it, I would be perfectly happy to accept the endorsement, but I'm not going to ask her to.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah, I want to real quick want to thank our guest coordinator because he, we're only 11 minutes in, and this is already going to be a great episode. Joe Hanush for setting this up for us. Shout out to Amity and Free and Terry Batts. Thank you guys all for checking in with us and commenting on this. And like Eric said, let's start tagging some people on here. Maybe we can get her to flip. That's the Washington, D.C. way. People say they're going to do stuff, and then they do the exact opposite of it. So why not? Why change now?
Yeah, this is the only time I will support a flip flopper. Y'all remember that was Mitt Romney's nickname, the flip
I am more than happy to support a flip flop if someone is learning and growing and doing better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
She didn't know we were going to have such a based libertarian running in the race. She thought it was going to be just all the same old Republicans and maybe the occasional Democrat. But
Yeah,
And honestly, considering how the Republican Party treated her toward the end, I mean, if I were in her shoes, I wouldn't want to be endorsing them either.
I don't blame her.
exactly.
We had Justin Amash on here, and he stood up for himself, and you saw what they did to him. It's crazy how they call it the swamp, but they're all alligators, and alligators don't live anywhere else but the swamp. And it just, why not try libertarian at this point? And, that sounds real basic on the surface, but what are you actually getting with the duopoly? And with that being said, why are you running? What is your main thing or things that you want to achieve?
Well, I mean, I've got several issues that I really feel strongly about. Although, before I go into that, I did actually want to bring up something. Our people can actually get better representation out of a libertarian than they can out of a Republican or a Democrat, simply because as a third-party candidate, I'm not beholden to either party's leadership. I'm not part of their pre-established voting blocks. That makes me the swing vote that they both have to come to if they want to push through their legislation. And so the people of my district end up getting more bang for their buck because I have stronger negotiating power.
Sweet.
So
Yeah.
that's the selling point right there of voting against the duopoly.
So, speaking of trying to get some votes in your election, you said it's in March, right? That's the election. Do we have a
Yes,
link
March 10th.
For his social media or anything there?
Yeah, well, I just posted the link for donations. And, you know, this is one of the main things that the Black Powder Podcast wants to do is get libertarians some cash in their pockets. So here's the link. You can also find the link on his campaign page, andrewforgeorgia.com. And we encourage everybody, even if you don't live in the 14th district of Georgia, you can still contribute. Like we say here on the Black Powder Podcast, put your money where your memes are. Just don't be based on social media. Be based with your contributions to the Libertarian Party. We're not asking you to forego paying your electricity bill. We're asking you for $5, $10, $15, $25, $30. Whatever you can give, every little bit counts. And that's very critical to us getting libertarians not only the exposure, but giving them a chance to win an election.
Did you have
So you're asking
Marcus? Yeah, go ahead.
So
No, that
you're
was it.
asking me
No,
about
that-
issues here, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, the one that's been weighing the most heavily on me is the debt. We have an extraordinary it boggles the imagination when you look at double digits of trillions of dollars. Last I checked, it was 38 trillion, or was it still just 36 trillion?
I thought it was 39.
Either way, I did the math. If you had that much money in dollar bills, it would weigh more than 10 times as much as the Great Pyramid of Khufu.
Oh, wow.
It's like, this is a
Now I
preposterous
gotta go
amount
look
of money.
up. Is that even a big pyramid? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, it is, Eric. It's in the
I
motherland.
gotta go look it up. So
It's one
I
of the
just went
larger
back
ones.
and
Yeah.
I just went back and dug into. So whenever I kind of started getting political, I was a Republican, but I was a Ron Paul Republican. I signed way for him and stuff. And everybody knows Ron Paul was famous for. I mean, he talked about the debt when he was in Congress in the beginning. You know what I mean? He talked about debt when he ran for president as libertarian. But in 2008, whenever I was first introduced to him, you know, we all saw a lot of his debate performances. The national debt was approximately 10.3 trillion then, and he was freaking out about the debt then. I mean, obviously, he's still here with us.
It's like, now I wish we could go back to that.
Yeah, and be like,
Yeah.
we were all like,
That was
I mean,
reasonable.
some of us were like, oh my God, that's terrible. And we got to do something about it. And they haven't done, neither side, neither Republican or Democrats have done anything. The weird thing is, I don't know that it was ever in the conversation for Democrats. And now it seems like because the Republican Party, most of them are going the complete opposite direction. They don't care about big government. They don't care about the budget. They don't care about deficit spending. They don't care about the debt. You hear some Democrats talking about balanced budgets and stuff like that. Not very often, but you're hearing it now.
And, you know, I'm happy to hear it from them. And that goes to a second thing that I'm interested in, and that's single issue coalitions and single issue bills. I will side with anybody who wants to shrink the debt, who wants to get our budget under control. Now, I can disagree with them vehemently and fight them tooth and nail on everything else. But when it comes to this, yes, I will stand up and I will fight them. I will fight with them on the issue we agree on. And I don't see why I have to have the same group of people that I'm allying with on one issue on everything. I cannot. It's like we're reasonable people who have opinions of our own, and we don't have to be defined by what our friend group is.
Exactly.
What a novel concept, the individual.
I could even see you, I don't want to speak for you, but like helping a Democrat get his single issue bill to the floor and then voting against it if you disagree with it on principle, but at least bring that single issue to the floor and debate the issue and vote on it. Because then, which this is why they don't do it, but then people can start holding their representatives accountable. They'll be like, hey, but whenever they shove welfare and warfare into the same 1,000-page bill, both sides vote for it to an extent so that it passes.
When we talk about these, 1,000+ page bills, I physically hurt because there is no single person who has read all of that before they pass it.
No.
And that makes me incomprehensibly angry because I look at it as you are signing a contract on behalf of your constituents without reading it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I promise I'm never going to vote yes on a bill without having read it in full. If they don't give me enough time to read it, then I vote no on it. Because if you're trying to push it through that quickly without somebody reading it, that means you're trying to hide something.
Exactly.
Well,
that's straight up common sense. And sorry, Marcus,
don't use that term on this show.
I'm just saying, like, that is straight up common sense. And I can't believe that the voters don't make that a mandate, make that a requirement. If they don't get that campaign promise from someone, regardless of party, they shouldn't support them. Like, every elected representative should have that same stance. And if you got, let's say, 1/3 of the congressional districts, their candidates and incumbents, people challenging and incumbents both made that promise, and then they were held accountable. Because the moment you get a 1,000-page bill, and then you get the rules changed where it's not even 72 hours, it's less than 24 hours to read a bill and vote on it. Obviously, the congressperson isn't reading it. They might have a boatload of aides, and it's like, here's your 100 pages. You got 8 hours. That's what's. But realistically, it's the lobbyists bringing the bill to them and saying, here's the bill that we want you to support. And they're like, okay. So.
Yeah. And I'm kind of amazed that of all the people, I think we're actually down to 18 or 19. I don't remember what the last count was. Candidates left in this race. At one point, we were up to like 21 or 22, but we've got a few people drop out. But out of all of these people, I am the only one who is saying this, that I promise to read the bills.
Well,
that would be such an easy thing.
Why do you need to read the bills when the title is so great? It's just like Americans with news stories. They read the headline, and you can automatically form your opinion just by reading the headline. For instance, you have the Patriot Act. Are you
right?
Not,
because the Inflation Reduction Act did such a great job of reducing inflation, right?
Yeah. Build back better. Are you?
Yeah, I don't want to build back worse.
Yeah, a big
it's
beautiful
like,
bill.
And the big beautiful bill. It's like it's right there with the name, right?
That's common sense, Eric. That is common sense. Read the damn title.
Yeah, that's all you need. Just the first page. Oh man, that's
really,
that's great.
They shred the 900
my love of
page
single issue bills goes back to the fact that I don't want to have to sit down and read, 1,000-page bill, or even a 700-page bill. It's like, I want single issue bills.
Yeah.
It's like, that would be
What?
great. Now,
Single
unfortunately,
issue bill
so
could
many
be
people.
2 or 3 pages.
I'm sorry.
Even I can. I'm saying a single issue bill would be 2 or 3 pages. Even I can read that.
Look, we have a
But,
comment that says, "I'm just going to read the book covers now." All you have to do
Look,
is read the back of the book. I strongly just read the back of the book, whatever the author said about it. Then you'll get the gist of it. Unfortunately, our bills don't have a summary or anything like that, so we just got to go by the title. That
just get the cliff notes.
you
know
know,
what I
I
mean?
love America. I hate the government. I got to be honest with you, because if you really think about the concept of these omnibus bills, it is to rip the people off. And our buddy Kenneth out in Oklahoma did, as of this morning, the national debt was $38.7 trillion. I'm pretty sure it's at 39 tomorrow morning, the way the interest rate, the interest adds to it. So it's mind-boggling to me that we're at this point. You know, I posted something about the $10 billion for the Board of Peace, and this guy told me that something to the effect Trump is still navigating the swamp, so he's going to give him a little bit of leeway. And I'm
He's
like,
had 4 and 5.5 years, 4 whatever, 5 years total.
and I'm like, this is why I'm for abolishing the Department of Education. It has failed so many Americans miserably that they're unable to formulate an independent thought where you think, hey, I'm voting for this same thing over, but you know what's going to happen? There's going to be some different results this time.
Look, I didn't succumb to the propaganda because, and we had this conversation for a year now, Marcus. We had 4 years of an example, and it wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? Like, he added the national debt. He bombed more countries than, I guess it would have been Obama before him, right? That was the guy before him at the time of his first term. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, hey, he didn't do anything he said he did the first time. Why would you trust him the second time? And a lot of people thought, well, he got a couple of good endorsements. He put some people they thought were going to be good in his cabinet. And now it turns out like everyone's a disappointment. Nothing he said was true so far. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, okay, he freed Ross. That is like the one thing, the one promise he made, and he didn't make that promise to me, but the one promise he made, so anyways, I digress.
Yeah, if you're going to hang your hat
about Trump.
Yeah, if you're going to hang your hat on him freeing Ross. Yeah,
look, we don't want to hurt Andrew whenever he goes.
Yeah.
He's trying to steal votes from both sides here. Hey, Andrew, just real quick before we get back into some of your platform and what's important to you, how is your district made up? I'm assuming it's super conservative, probably like 75% conservative. Is that a good for someone like MTG to get elected? I'm just saying it's got to be.
I was going to say it just vibes wise. I don't know the actual numerical breakdown. But in terms of vibes, I would expect that it was like 90% conservative. We are very, very pro-Republican in this district. In fact, more often than not, I hear the word Democrat used as a pejorative.
Yeah. Instead of liberal, they just straight say Democrat. I'm fine with it too.
It's like the worst thing you can call somebody is a Democrat, followed closely by Rhino.
Yeah, exactly. And then for us libertarians, like Republicans becoming that pejorative. So this special election, is it open? How's this making out? Is it any different than normal, or is there still a primary for the Republicans and then it'll go into a general?
No, it is an open. They call it a jungle election. Everybody who can qualify gets on the ballot.
Gotcha.
And so you pay the qualifying fee, you get on the ballot.
So how much is that qualifying fee?
Let's see. It was $5,000 and some change.
Did you
That's
come out of
not-
pocket for that? Did you fund that?
Fortunately, the Libertarian Party of Georgia was willing to
Awesome.
shell out 75% of that.
Awesome.
And
Marcus,
so I was only able to.
You can put his link back up there. Let's see if
Yeah.
we can get some of that money back. If you spend it on this campaign, however you need to, text message, banking at this point. I don't know your strategy moving forward. Let's say hypothetically, if you got $1,000 right now to your campaign, how would that money be spent at this 1 month left going into the campaign?
Honestly, early voting has already started.
Yeah.
But most of the people who vote in this election are going to wait until the day of.
Yep.
And they need to see that there's somebody out there aside from the 3 or 4 Republican frontrunners.
Yeah.
They need to, it's like, we need yard signs. We need, there have been a few people who've offered us TV spots if we can afford to pay them.
Yeah.
We've got, we have been doing everything we can. I'm making the podcast circuit, showing
Good.
up to any debates that I'm invited to.
Good.
We are doing everything we can to
What
get
about
name recognition out there.
Volunteers for the day of voting to sign wave at the polling sites? Like, I don't know if you got a good volunteer base. Maybe we can get some people live close by, or if we could raise money for you, you could hire paid sign waivers. I know that's not, that's kind of frowned upon, but you got to do what you got to do at this point. You know what I mean?
And honestly, I have some fantastic people helping me out with this campaign. And I would trust these guys absolutely when it comes to how we manage the money and what it'll be best used for in order to make this happen. In fact, one guy in particular, I told Sergio Ortega, I said, if I get elected, I'm blaming you.
Nice.
He's doing a good job. Shout out to Sergio Ortega. Good job, brother.
Yes, he is fantastic. Every step of the way, he's been there. He's been setting me up with all kinds of things, and he's been keeping me going. So
good.
Yeah. So one thing I really like about your platform is you signed a pledge. Do you want to speak to that pledge you signed for the voters of Georgia and let people know how you feel about the matter? You know what pledge I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
I'm sorry. There was a little noise over here. I couldn't catch that last bit.
Oh, it was nothing.
You know the pledge he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the pledge?
Yeah, I've made several pledges. I've pledged to support term limits. I've even not outright publicly stated that I am not going to go for more than 2 full terms. I have no interest in being in Washington that long. I kind of loathe the idea anyway, but I'm willing to do it out of a sense of responsibility. But
well, see, that's already how I know you're a good guy, because anybody who wants to stay in Washington for an extended period of time, they're not there for the right reasons. They're there for the money and becoming a millionaire.
I don't want to know somebody who actually desires that.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine the kind of deranged mind that would consider that to be a good thing. But
and Congress, I think they work an average of about 175 days a year, if you want to call it work, and they tend to campaign year round more so than legislate, which I'm personally for part-time legislation, like back in the day where you went to Washington D.C. after harvest season, when we're more agricultural based. But we don't need a full-time legislation in nowhere in America, because it just breeds corruption. And
I feel like you could get it done in 90 days max.
Yeah. And spend less money.
If I were to have my way, we would do all of our legislative duties uh, electronically, and we'd all just stay in our own districts where we're accessible to our constituents. But
Well,
unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get my way.
I feel like that's more secure than having Randy Fine walking by pushing your voting button on the House floor. Everybody saw that, right?
Nothing to see
So, I
here.
mean, so if you had your encrypted passcode connected
It's easy to
to
do.
your government issued device, you know what I mean? I could see that, but also I loved Thomas Massey calling everyone back to DC to vote on the CARES Act in person. We needed a counted vote. That's the problem. Is I would be perfectly fine with that if the votes are still counted, if they're still tallied, and we still see by name who voted what way. So yeah,
yes,
I mean,
that's very important. Transparency is something I care deeply about, and I think if elected, I want to take a page from Justin Amash's book, because he would put on his social media everything about a bill, his understanding of it, what it was, what he was voting on it, why, and he made sure that it was well understood. And I want to be able to do that, but do it in a timely enough manner also to where my constituents can contact me if they think I'm off base. And they can tell me, hey, I see why you want to vote for this. Let me tell you why you shouldn't vote for it.
And what's crazy to me is that was frowned upon. They did not like Justin Amash exposing the inner works of our republic. And to me, it was like the only thing that's private in this country should be the citizens. Everything that government does should have a massive spotlight on it, so the American people can actually see. They've separated us from our government completely now, where we are at their, with their monopoly on violence and all of that stuff. There's no connection from the voter to Congress or the presidency anymore, and it's disgusting to me.
That's really a sad thing. I want to embody what a congressman was supposed to be from the very beginning. I want to be the bridge between my constituents and their government. It's like I plan on not going all in on principles. And part of those is making sure that the people who live here, my friends, my neighbors, the people who go to church with me, that they are getting the best representation they can have.
Well, we got you one vote from Liberty Boyston. She's in your district. So
thank you.
She said vote. If we're libertarians, that's where all the guns go on and magically disappear. But I know she meant vote.
Or you want a free vote?
Well, there you go.
You get a vote.
I don't know what I do with a boat. My property's landlocked, so
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you, Liberty.
Are you like the start of the Appalachians, or are you further west of that? Appalachians.
I'm further west. I am in a little town called Rock Spring. Nobody's ever heard of it.
But you're basically on the border of Tennessee.
Yeah, I am. Like I said, about 30 to 40 minutes south of the border of Tennessee.
Gotcha.
And around here, it's farmland. It's not it's not lakes, so a boat wouldn't do me much good.
Gotcha.
Speaking of farmland, how have those tariffs treated the farmers in your neck of the woods?
Honestly, a lot of the folks around here do cattle.
Okay,
and
so it's not
there have been some reciprocal tariffs When we put tariffs on another company or another country, they want to raise tariffs on us. And it's been harder to sell because the U.S. has been a net exporter of beef for a long time, but it gets harder to sell them when people can't, when it becomes more expensive to sell it abroad.
Right.
So that's a good segue. Would you support Thomas Massey's Prime Act, which if you haven't looked into it, please do spread the word on that one as you're campaigning around there. But essentially, it would allow people to sell local meat within their state at their local grocer and it without having to go through the USDA because it's staying in their state. I can't believe that's not legally allowed right now, but that's one reason why our meat's so expensive.
I am all in on anything that makes free trade and association between people easier.
There you
go.
It's
like if we cannot, it's like that's how we enrich everybody. Because if a trade is going to make you worse off, you're not going to take it. So anything that's voluntary on both sides makes both sides better off. And the government really doesn't have any business telling somebody, no, you can't make that trade. Now, another thing, though, while we're on the subject of trade and tariffs, it's not just farmland in this area. We have a lot of manufacturing here, too. And I used to work at a plant that produced aluminum brake knuckles. We did everything in-house. We, melted them down, casted them, did machine work on them, and then assembled them. All in-house. And so it was great. We were able to save a whole lot of costs that way. However, one thing we weren't able to account for was the fact that we import our aluminum. And during the first Trump administration, we got a pretty nasty tariff placed on aluminum. And that raised our cost of doing business a whole lot. And the company had to look for ways of cutting costs wherever they could. And it's because of things like that that people end up getting laid off.
Yep.
It's like the big arguments in favor of tariffs. They say that it's to help local industries, and no, it doesn't. It hurts local industries because manufacturing requires the free movement of goods.
Yep.
Because we don't create everything all in one place. There's always an input that we need to take from somewhere else. And that cost is always paid by the consumer.
Exactly. Hey, did y'all import your aluminum from Canada? Do you know where?
You'll have to forgive me. I don't know the exact details on that. I was in quality control, so I wasn't exactly...
Gotcha.
Well,
just curious because I know that was a big thing, I think, with wood and everything this beginning of this election. But I worked at a brewery part-time, and it was tariffs and then COVID, and the price of the aluminum cans went up. And I want to say there was a shortage in the United States, and so they started getting them from Canada, but they weren't. They were more expensive because of the tariffs. So I just was curious. That's all.
Well, I just wanted to say about, what he's saying is not, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. The concept that he's trying to get across is not bad. You want to bring back jobs to America, and nobody can disagree with that. The thing about it is you don't have the infrastructure in place to support the meantime. And if you're not going to have that infrastructure, the first thing that goes when a company needs to look at cutting costs are employees. When those employees go, they don't have the buying power to support their family and to support this economy. And then it's a snowball effect. And to think, oh, we're going to bring back these jobs. People are building factories. There is not a factory that can be built in months. This is typically years project. The design, there isn't a place you could go to and buy factory blueprints and they say, okay, we got our blueprints. Let's go start digging up some dirt and build this factory. So the short term and long term don't match up. He's not even putting the horse before the cart before the horse. He's putting the horse on the side of the cart and trying to push it sideways at this point with these tariffs, and it's nuts. Now, I wanted to get into where was it? Your stuff on healthcare, because that's a major issue for a lot of people right now, and it's a very difficult issue to manage. And I don't want to put you on the spot here in a bad way, but what is your plan on that?
Well, healthcare is one of those things that there's not going to be a one-size-fits-all solution. And
Right.
Everybody wants to have that really quick, really simple soundbite that says, this is what will fix it. The truth is, we have been screwing up our healthcare system for certainly longer than I've been alive, probably going all the way back to World War II. But every fix that we've tried to use has made it worse. And the problem comes down to the fact that we keep taking the costs and separating them from the consumers. We don't have good price signaling anymore, and therefore the whole system breaks down. We have insurance companies in the way between doctors and patients. Then we have the government in the way between not patients and insurance companies. We have big pharma getting its fingers into all of it. And really, this is not something that you can solve at a single stroke. But there are a few things we can do that can start to make it better. And while I do have several things that I could suggest, the first steps is we need to, first of all, allow insurance companies to compete across state lines. That is the simplest, most obvious thing to do. It's not going to fix everything by a long shot, but it's your number one simple go-to solution. Then you can start looking at other things. We need to get the government's fingers out of healthcare as quickly as possible, because the most regulated industries are always the ones that end up costing the most. If you look at costs adjusted for inflation over time, it's things like healthcare and college tuition that go through the roof over time. Whereas compare that to consumer electronics.
Yeah.
Yeah, the prices drop.
We get better quality electronics at lower prices as time goes on. And that's, I have a cell phone here that 10 years ago would not have even been a possible thing to create. And today, it's so cheap that even somebody like me can buy it. It's like, and I am by no means wealthy.
I was talking with an old guy at work, and he had a suitcase cell phone when they first came out, and he said it would have been the equivalent of like $5,000. Now, he had it for work, but still, a $5,000 cell phone when they first came out. And that's that's the point you're trying to make, is like, as technological advances happen and the free market steps up, the more wealthy pay big first, research and development happens, the cost goes down, normal people start to buy it, The problem is like with healthcare, because the government's been involved for so long, they've had those technological advances, but the price keeps going up. It's not coming, it's not balancing out, and it's not coming down.
It's like I am a big economics buff. I got into it when I was in college when I accidentally took a class in macroeconomics. It's like I did not know what it meant at the time, and I was too foolish to try and drop the class, and so I ended up going through it.
We got a question for you.
Well, let him finish this point, and then we'll keep the question up.
It's like one thing that I can say when it comes to economics is that everything comes down to price signals. When prices go up, that's where entrepreneurs know that that's an area where they can make money, and so they go to create more supply, and that brings the prices down. When prices go down, that tells people, hey, there's no money to be made in this. They leave and they go find something else where they can do a better service. And it's because you have this mobile supply and demand that it allows you to, in real time, allocate resources across millions or even billions of people in the most efficient way possible. And when you cut off that information, you are not going to have optimal results. And that's what happens when we regulate an industry to the point, and then to the point that we have with healthcare, and then also subsidize these things to create an incentive to keep it broken.
Copy. So we have a question from my homie Sean. What are your thoughts on Georgia Nicotine Vapor Products Directory Act?
Unfortunately, I have not had the opportunity to look into it in detail. I can say that unfortunately, there's not anything I could do about that at a federal level, but I do generally support the idea of limiting the amount of regulation that we have on substances. People should have the choice of what they put in their bodies. Now they should be informed, and if government is to have a role in this, it is to make sure that people are informed making these decisions. But we cannot expect to make people's decisions for them when it comes to control to these substances, whether used recreationally or otherwise.
Oh, okay. So he just added some context to that. Basically requiring the FDA-approved harm reduction product, adding taxes, and funding vape detectors in school. You lost me at taxes, Georgia.
Yeah, I'm not on board with this.
And you lost me at requiring.
If that's what this is about, then no, I'm not on board with that. That basically goes against everything that I just said.
Yeah.
I do got a gotcha question. If given the opportunity, what is the first single page bill you're gonna bring to the floor for whichever federal agency you want to abolish first? What's it gonna be?
Ooh. Oh, that's hard. That's hard because there are so many that I want to abolish.
There's like 650, but go ahead.
Okay. Because now, if I were to go by what's most likely to pass, I would probably say Department of Education.
Okay.
I think that there is enough support for getting rid of that right now that would be really likely to pass. Now, if I'm wanting to, stir the pot a bit and hopefully, get rid of something that I see as doing a lot of harm, maybe the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay.
But the number one thing that I would want to get rid of, and I think this might be cheating because it's not necessarily actually a department of the United States,
I know where you're
but the
going.
Federal Reserve.
There you go. My man. In the Fed.
In the Fed.
Hashtag.
It's like
Someone
if I
put it in the
could wave a
comments,
magic
hashtag
wand
in
and
the
get rid of
Fed.
one thing, that would be really high on my list.
Well, yeah, that's super high. And the best way to accomplish that, Trump, if you're listening, or my Fed boys, send him the message. You could and still can just appoint Ron Paul to the chairman of the Federal Reserve. You haven't chose your guy yet. Throw Ron Paul in there. Let's get some stuff done, if you know what I mean.
I don't know
Anyway.
who would be more appalled, whether it be the other people working at the Federal Reserve or Ron Paul.
Ron Paul would be pissed.
Yes.
He'd be like, really? This is torch. Man.
Yeah. I don't
But
ever
also-
think libertarians will ever diverge from the in the Fed mantra until it actually
like,
happens.
Imagine if they couldn't print the trillions of dollars worth of debt, and instead they taxed us more than they already do. Eventually, and Marcus,
People
you
are
said
going to
this,
care about that.
Yeah, who was it? Milton Freeman that gave them the idea to withdraw it from. He said it's the biggest mistake he ever made in his life, and he'll rot in hell for doing it, basically. But
That could have been Milton Friedman. Now I'm thinking.
yeah, no, I'm telling you, he accidentally gave them this idea. I don't know how. He said it'd be a great idea if the taxes were just withdrawn directly from your paycheck. I don't know. You look it up. Someone fact check me. You got 5 minutes to fact check me. But a known libertarian, said he mentioned it and it happened and his biggest regret of his life. But I digress. Imagine if you had to go once a quarter with a check or now online to the federal government. Once a quarter, you had to pay your taxes with a check. You know how pissed off we'd all get real quick? But no, because it's passively taken out of our paycheck. No one's noticing it's gone. So we just, I say we bring back, let's get rid of the automatic, it being taken out of your paycheck, withdrawal from your paycheck.
Unfortunately,
start a revolution in like 3
So many
weeks.
people benefit from that.
in
Powerful people
two
are benefiting from it,
paychecks,
so they're not going to vote
2
against it.
paychecks. We're going to be down there at the Capitol with pitchforks and torches, all pissed off. I'm just saying.
Well,
Bring back tarring and feathering.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. But in my previous incarnation of this podcast, which was the other black guy who likes guns show, I wanted to make October go exempt month on your paycheck. And I thought that was a great way to send shockwaves through Washington, D.C. if the majority of Americans put exempt on their W-4, whatever the hell that form is called, and not pay any federal taxes for a month, to let them know we still have the power, and I actually got pushback for that. I couldn't believe that people were upset about the concept about not paying taxes. Are you getting a check now?
I'm sorry. I was
going to say, for the record, taxation is theft. They didn't know that.
But
depending on how it's levied, sometimes it's extortion.
Yeah,
that's true. So we're gonna start wrapping this up. We're about to reach our hour where we try to keep it because Americans have short attention spans, and I blame the public education system for that too. But let's say you're at a debate and afterwards you're slapping hands and yucking it up with people, and they ask you, why should I vote for you as a libertarian? What would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them, first of all, you're getting exactly what's on the box. I would tell them, first of all, you're getting exactly what's on the box. Secondly, like I said at the beginning of this, I'm not beholden to either party's leadership. If I'm the swing vote, that means that you get more representation through me because my vote carries more weight. So these
feds
are
are coming.
some great things.
We apologize. The feds are coming to get you now. You came on the Black Powder podcast. You must have said something they didn't like.
Yeah, you're on a list now.
You're on the list now. But, you know, all my favorite heroes are on CIA watch list, not in the Epstein files. So,
yeah, different list.
Yeah, different list. It's astonishing, distinguished individuals. So, Eric, what is your closing as we start to wrap this up?
How can people reach you? Obviously, AndrewForGeorgia.com. Anyone listening to this message, really just give your closing remarks. Let them know how they can help out your campaign. Do you need door knockers? Do you need money? Do you need people to phone bank, send text messages, tag you on social media, all the things? You take this last minute or so.
Yeah, everything helps. I am not picky. Any bit of assistance I am more than happy to accept. I can put you in touch with Sergio. He has been managing a lot of this, and I once again I just really appreciate all of the support I've had.
Awesome.
All right.
So, with that being said, this has been the Black Powder Podcast. I'm going to thank our guest tonight, Andrew Underwood. There's his link to his campaign page. Once again, AndrewForGeorgia.com. We ask that you click that donate button and give what you can. So help a guy out that actually wants to help you out with your government tyranny. We want to end that. You know, that's not a noble concept. That is a reality that must come forward in this time and age because, you know, liberties are being lost. I wanted to, if you could real quick, you have stuff about the surveillance state on your page and how you feel about that with all this Planeteer, whatever the hell that Peter Thiel crap is called. Real quick, can you touch on that?
I'm sorry, I missed that last bit. It cut out a little there.
Oh, on the government surveillance and the Planeteer stuff with Peter Thiel or whatever that guy's name is.
It really, really irks me because I think that we've got it all backwards. The government needs to be the one that has the surveillance on them. And we need to have all of the everything needs to be as public and transparent as possible. We shouldn't have to jump through so many hoops and fight for years and years to get documents released. Meanwhile, we've got the government spying on us without warrants. This is not okay. And it needs to stop. And I am going to do everything in my power to see to it that it does stop.
Excellent. I want to thank you for that. Eric, you have anything else?
No. Great job. Pleasure meeting you. Good luck. We've shared this on social media, but post-campaign, if you're interested and if Marcus is able to get us connected, we'd like to know everything you did to win and how we could repeat it.
All right. So with that being said, Andrew, I ask that you stick around after the closeout so we could just talk a little stuff. But this has been the Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast that exists. Shout out to Free, Amity, Sean, Terry, Kenneth, Liberty, our guy Joe Hanush. I can't thank you enough for getting us another great candidate. Joe is our guest coordinator, so he's very important to this enterprise. Thank you to the Libertarian Party for sharing this stuff. We really appreciate you guys getting the word out there, getting our good candidates out there, and letting libertarians define themselves. And with that being said, this has been the Black Powder Podcast. And we always end this with live free or die.
Die.
This is the Black Powder Podcast, coming at you live and direct. Your salty tears season my life. It's the Black Powder Podcast.